What's going on, everyone? So, Shams Charania gave us a breakdown through ESPN on what he rates the Lakers offseason. I wanted to go over it, talk about it, give my thoughts and opinions on it. Of course, I want to hear yours, so let me know down in the comments. Also, this is at least for now. Lakers, they make some other moves and stuff. We're still 2 months away from training camp, but thus far, this offseason, this is what Shams had to say. So, Shams gave the Lakers a grade of a B, right? The Lakers are an interesting contrast to their crosstown rivals offseason. Building around 26-year-old Luka Doncic, the Lakers added Jake LaRavia, 23, the youngest unrestricted free agent to change teams for more than a minimum, plus DeAndre Ayton, who recently turned 27, Marcus Smart, 31, who is the Lakers' oldest newcomer. The Lakers' additions were as effective last season as the Clippers, but the new Lakers stand a better chance of being a long-term contributors. The biggest question about the Lakers offseason is what that approach means for 40-year-old superstar LeBron James. However, James has little leverage after exercising his player option. It's more important for the Lakers to persuade Luka to sign an extension when he becomes eligible this weekend. So, a couple things. One, he gave them a B, right? That's the big thing. He talked about how, Jake LaRavia didn't mention the draft pick or anything like that, but that's fine. Obviously, a lot of unknowns in regards to the draft pick. From a subjective perspective, then yeah, I think a B is a fair assessment of the Lakers. I probably would have given, a B plus, but I think it's a fair assessment because I don't think the Lakers are fully a finished product yet. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to do it all in the offseason, but I definitely think the Lakers could use another piece or two, ideally a better slotted in 3-and-D wing, and then a maybe an upgrade at the backup center, kind of ideally. But nonetheless, I think Jake LaRavia was an excellent acquisition. I think he has the potential to be really everything this team needs as far as like a two-way 3-and-D wing. You got Marcus Smart, who is going to have incredible impacts on this roster on the defensive side of things. DeAndre Ayton is exactly what this team needed at the center position. You're talking a top 10, top 12 center in all the basketball, and I think he's going to climb up the rankings with Luka Doncic this upcoming season. You're going to have a healthy, motivated, ready to go Luka Doncic. I think this team is going to be very good. I think a B assessment, given kind of like what the Lakers added, how much they added, and all that, I think that that's a fair assessment. Now, obviously, we could look back in hindsight, and it could be like, oh, that was a D rated, right? Because Jake LaRavia was terrible, and DeAndre Ayton ended up just quitting, and you never know, right? But based on the acquisition in players, I actually think that that's a fair assessment, especially coming from ESPN, because ESPN loves to Lakers are a play-in team, and Lakers are this, that, and LeBron is, the 27th best player in basketball. And, you see some of ESPN's rankings at times, and they're usually not very favorable for the Lakers. But I think it's funny because all they want to do is talk about the Lakers, but yet they never seem to have anything good to say when it comes to their rankings and all that stuff. But Shams, he doesn't have skin in the game either way. He's just looking at the acquisitions and pickups. And, he said that these are, quality pickups, right? I agree. I think that this is a very fair assessment. Like I said, I would have done a B plus because I do think you look at what the Lakers went into and what they needed, right? They solved all their needs. The only reason it's not an A or anything for me is because there's so many kind of unknowns, right? Can Marcus Smart stay healthy, right? Can Jake LaRavia, can he play a key role, right? DeAndre Ayton is probably the best and most impactful pickup in acquisition. If the Lakers do end up making another move or two, then yeah, I mean, that could obviously move into the A category. But I think not counting a Dude Thero, right? Because I think if you factor a Dude Thero into the equation, I think it's a B plus. Because he is, on paper at least, exactly what this team needs. Big, strong, physical, athletic, right? Projected to be a 3-and-D guy. It's just he's a rookie. How much impact can he have? Whatnot. But he potentially could. I mean, there's plenty of rookies throughout the league that have had, really good seasons in their rookie season. You're not going to be looking for him to be one of the 3 best players on this team, right? You're looking at best for him to be a rotation guy, 8th, 9th, 10th guy, maybe not, maybe a guy in the rotation during the regular season, but not playoff time. So it's kind of why I look at it as a B+, but if you want to remove it, the row, just kind of keep LaRavia, Ayton, and Marcus Smart and say that that's a B. No problems, no kind of pushback there. I do think, though, with all of the kind of uncertainties with DeAndre Ayton, right, as well as, Marcus Smart, not with like on-court issues, but just him being healthy. Jake LaRavia looks really good and really promising, but he's young, right? Like, can he kind of find his footing, find his spot, play his role, and actually have an impact to the level in which the Lakers need on this team, right? And again, the Lakers could very well go make a trade, or they can make, some type of move. There's still, active in trade talks. There's a lot of, Portland Lakers conversations right now about the Lakers acquiring, a Robert Williams and a Matisse Thybulle. And if you open up a roster spot, then maybe you bring in, you all of a sudden you bring in a Chris Middleton, who's rumored to potentially be another buyout candidate. And now it's like, okay, they brought in like 5, 6, 7 guys, right? Now that can kind of catapult and move to an A. So I actually credit Shams because I do think that that is a very fair assessment. Now, you might be somebody that thinks that it's an A, or somebody that thinks it's a C or a D, whatever, right? We all have our kind of personal opinions and based on that. But just given how, kind of the critics and the media at times likes to kind of downplay things, right? Like, I think that this was, when I saw the ratings, I was like, oh, here we go. Right? Like, I was like, so what are the Lakers? A D- because they didn't get Joel Embiid and, an OG Anunoby and a Dyson Daniels. And then I looked and it was a B, and I was like, okay. Like, I was like, honestly, like that is a fair assessment. I would have given him a B+. I think I'm pretty sure I mentioned that before. Like, somebody asked me, I think in one of the live streams, and I was like, I think right now I'd give him a B+. And explain why I don't think it's an A yet. But again, the fact that it's a B, I mean, if you don't want to do the plus, right? Like, let's say, some people have like, oh, we're not doing plus or minus, just either, standard ranking, then yeah, I think it would be a B, right? For me, it would be a B. I don't think I'd bump them to an A. I think that they're in between that, but personally, I drop them down to a B. Now, again, in looking back, hindsight looking back, it might have been an A. Right? But we can only judge off of just the circumstance right now. I don't know how Ayton's going to be. If Ayton's exactly what I believe he's going to be on this team, then I think it's an A++ at that point, right? If Marcus Smart can be healthy and be out there and play a role and, impact our defense in a positive manner, all of a sudden, it's an A++, right? So I do think that it has the capability of moving into the A's, but I think a B is a very fair assessment. But as always, says a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. What do you think? What grade would you give the Lakers thus far this offseason? Obviously, again, if they make other moves or do other things, that could change, but let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out, so we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.